Okay, let's look at equities videos, commodities. Let's start with the Dixie. We're going to look at Dixie. We're going to look at gold, silver, copper, palladium, platinum, and oil. That's it. And then Google. Um, None of this is financial advice. It's just what we see and share. So take with a pinch of salt and do what you want with it. The daily chart. Okay, so the daily chart. Let's look at the weekly actually on the Dixie. So I think last week. I did flag the Dixie would be going up and well, go down first. I did, would be going down first. We spotted that there will be a downward trend. And we've come down and we came down quite a bit we're going to the daily chart. Uh, yeah, so we came down quite a bit and then kind of started going up. Let me just make this bigger. And you can see here on Thursday. So we started the week here, Friday, and then Monday we went up and then we're back down. So where are we going? I think that energy flow is a bit to the downside. But having said that, we have our, slow RSI still supporting a move to the upside currently on the daily chart. And if you go and look, there's a divergence that we formed here. We had a divergence here, a local divergence that we had. So we have a divergence between this one, local. We haven't gone lower here on the weekly chart. Yes, on the weekly chart. So you have a divergence between this point here, yeah, and here, because we've gone lower, and here as well, right? Which is all beautiful divergences for a move to the upside. MACD is currently looking positive, ticking up the other way. We have the fast MACD already crossed anyway. So this thing will probably continue going up into next week. The dollar will continue going up into next week. I think it probably goes all the way to test somewhere here. This will be a resistance. Okay, there will be a resistance somewhere here around 99.8, and then you get another resistance point somewhere here. The fact that we've had a dead cross here on the weekly chart, having hit a high of what, 114, and we've done the fall, gone sideways, and now we have a dead cross here. We've gone quite a bit down from the dead cross happening. We did rally into the dead cross and then we've come back down. Do I think the fall is over? I don't think so. This is just one of those mini rallies that you get when you cross the 50 EMA is crossed. You do get rallies back into the 50. It's like a magnet. It kind of draws the price back to itself before it lets it go again to the downside. So your rally is a mini rally, and the mini rally will bring you all the way back up to somewhere here, or maybe shoot over it slightly, and then down back to the 200 SMA and EMA. So that's the sort of thing I'm seeing on the dollar at the moment. You're going to get a move to the upside, but it's not the end of the fall. Let's move on to gold. So gold on the monthly chart, we had a sell-off, and we're still above the KC channel. If I change the KC channel banding numbers, oh come on, why can't I not? Let's change it. It's 2.5. I'm gonna put it at 4. So our 4 standard deviations, we can see here, we are still within the band, and this move here looks pretty strong on the monthly chart. I mean, there's not been any change at all in terms of our RSI settings. Everything's all doing the same thing. It's pointing in the right directions. The 9 is above. The 9 EMA is above there. 9 SMA is leading the way. This is above this. It's a perfect set of scenario here on the monthly chart. Let's see the weekly chart. See if there's any telltale signs of weakness. So there is some divergences here between here, there, there. There's divergences on the RSIs. And what's happened here is we had our fast RSI cross to go up, right? And but the slow did not actually do that. And normally, what normally happens, you're going to get it coming back down again, and the two of them coming back down together. It's normally what happens. So there is divergences there. I think this move here is a liquidity grab of this candle. It can go higher. It can push slightly higher, and so don't be surprised to see it push slightly higher before you get your proper correction on gold, is what I would say. So I would say that this thing continues into next week by going up higher, into testing this point here and probably even testing that point there and potentially zipping quickly up to another all-time high. And then from then onwards, you can get a cascade because this candle here is an interest candle, has to be exceeded and it's sitting at 4,004. So after this move, we would see gold unravel itself because of the higher time frame on the weekly chart divergences, which are clearly waiting to play out. So that's what we see on gold. Potentially more upside to uncover liquidity sitting on this candle and slightly maybe to the upside before you get a down 10. Let's move on to silver. Silver has this interest candle here, which will have to be exceeded to the downside. But I think there's liquidity to this candle that needs to be taken. There's more. So I would expect this to continue to kind of go high and even potentially might do a new all-time high before you get unraveling, is what we would say on silver as well. Let's move on to palladium, or is it copper? So um, copper is also showing some weakness to the upside on this. There is some weaknesses there that we see, but all the RSIs are doing the same thing, so there's no issues there on this weekly chart. Again, I think this candle here, there's liquidity, stacks up liquidity around it. There is a divergence between here and there, and here as well. So this is a liquidity grab in my view, and we'll get a liquidity grab. It could go slightly higher before you get a downturn, or it could just unravel itself somewhere here or somewhere there, unravel itself and continue the leg to the downside. If we go to the daily chart, we might even get some indications of that happening at the moment, not at the moment on the daily chart. So, and then let me go to 12 hours and see what's going on. Yeah, so this is gonna we've got an interest candle here that's been exceeded to the downside, and potentially it can then come back up and continue the leg to the upside. The 4-hour chart doesn't look promising when you look at it from that perspective, because it's like here and here is like almost like a double top between here and there, triple top actually. So this one doesn't look too promising. It's looking more like on a lower time frame. It's looking more like it wants to actually come down rather than yeah, it wants to come down rather than go up. So lower time frame doesn't really give us much room for the upside, but they could still decide to move it up to take some liquidity first before going down. So you've got to be prepared for that. And then you've got palladium on the weekly chart. Let's look at the weekly chart. So again, you can see the RSIs, the MACD is ticking down 0. I mean, it's not looking strong at the moment. This liquidity grab looks like it's getting finished, really. If you move it to your 4-hour chart, you can see here it's a very similar one. So you've got an interest candle that's been exceeded, and it's possible that you may slightly go up a little bit to take some more liquidity before you kind of end your way back to the downside. So there's not much leg left on this one either. But bear in mind, we could be coming to take more liquidity. There's so much liquidity sitting up here that, the market maker we may want to take it. And also, we spent quite a bit of time here. So a lot of time has been spent here, going sideways for a long time. Since January 26th, we've been going basically sideways between this box here and then this box here, literally. That's what we've been doing. So, don't be surprised because normally with these, you have a try one here, it's tried here, failed, it's tried here, and it's failed, and it's tried here and it's failed. So it's failed a couple of times to break the 200 SMA. So, that's like a strong barrier for it to break on this 4-hour chart. And the daily chart is also telling us that, look, you're more likely to come down before you get that big boost to the upside, which I think will come later once you hit the 200 SMA on the daily chart. So that's what we see. And we'll move on to the next one. And let's look at platinum. Platinum is also on the weekly chart. You can see here our RSIs are now pointing upwards, so that's good. There's more liquidity to be taken up here, and I think they will go and take it and probably even push it slightly higher again before you get any collapse. Our fast MACD is about to cross as well. The daily chart, you've got, yeah, this is going to go up. This is going to go up, more likely going up. MACD is positive. The RSIs are singing in the right directions. So yeah, this likely goes up to do any all-time high, I think, on this one. Pretty obvious. Oil, let's look at oil. So oil on the weekly chart, I think last week I did predict oil likely goes to about $80 and it's on its way. I think it will go there. It will probably hit $80 and probably overshoot it slightly first before you get a correction on it. Everything is MACDs are strong. RSIs are pointing the right direction. It's pointing the right direction. There's no issues there. So this thing continues going up on the weekly chart. If we bring it on the daily chart, you can see it's already, in a breakout. It's already breaking up above the previous tops here. So resistance has been broken. And most likely, this is the thing with charts. There was so much liquidity around this here. So, when we get to $80, it's going to face a lot of resistance, or about $80. So watch out for that one. And I think those are the only real pairs I want to really focus on. And then Google as well. Google. So Google on the weekly chart, what you can see here on the weekly chart, the MACDs are not looking good. It's getting the RSIs are low, they're pointing downwards. So this thing already, we've got a roadblock there already, and we've tried to go up and being rejected. This thing will be coming back down. What is the Nasdaq? Sorry, I'm looking at Nasdaq. No, I don't want to look at Nasdaq. Google. Sorry. So you can see here, yeah, MACD is negative as well. Your RSIs, with all the energy that we had here to push, we could not even cross upwards and point upwards properly. So I think this one continues its leg to the downside. I think, I'm looking at initial target of 260 on this one and potentially even down to about 240. This candle is a candle of interest. This candle here is the candle that will be sucked up. And then from then onwards, hopefully you can have a bit of a move to the upside on Google. If you go to the daily chart, we did have some move coming to we're going up down to the downside, but if we look at our RSIs and see here, I mean we could get a bit of a move to the upside first before on the daily chart We could get a move back up to test this point here before the fall actually ensues. But this is a weak buy. And if you go to 4 hours, you can see here on 4 hours, all the MACDs, first MACD is crossed. This one is also crossed up. They wanted to take some liquidity off this candle, which they've done. There isn't really a divergence in here for us to go way crazy here. So I think there's more downside on it, but you could get, a small push to yeah, you could get a small push back up to about here, 320, maybe overshoot it slightly, and then, cascade back down to the downside would be what we'd say. So Google currently on a higher time frame downtrend, but don't be surprised if they take some liquidity, a bit of a liquidity sweep on this candle first before you get your cascade to the downside. And let's look at it on a monthly chart. And a monthly chart, you can see here there's a clear divergence. This month will close with a divergence on this candle. And divergence on MACD as well on the monthly chart. And then, all our RSIs are now pointing downwards. Fast already is crossed downwards and slow is going to follow. But with monthly closes like this, you tend to sometimes get, move back up to the upside first. So don't be surprised to see a move back up to about 340-ish before 335, 340 before the down ensues properly. Similar to some of the monthly candles that you had. Look at this one here. You had a red candle here, divergence on MACD, and guess what? The following month you shot right back up before you consolidated, then lost the plot, right? So you could be seeing something like this play out here before the real fall begins. So prepare yourself for it. That's what we'd say. And I think that's all I've got. And I wish you all the best and have a good week.